Hi, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the YHWH and the Torah channel, and we are going to try.
Kadesh. It is a day he wants us to spend with him. It is a day he wants us to basically be his people more than any other day of the week. He wants us to be close to him on this day.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here we are, and we are going to go over some of the laws, statutes, and commands. And this is kind of like the old days in the Levitical times, back when you had the priests, and the priests would have to read the Torah before we do this. But let's just open in prayer real quick, and I will pray. Precious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for another Shabbat. We thank you for a day of rest. We thank you for your Son, YHWH. We thank you for your Torah. We thank you for everything. You have given us a life. You have given us just an abundance of blessings in our lives. And Father, we are in your debt. We will always be in your debt. We are your people. We are seeking your ways. We are seeking your laws, and we are seeking your kingdom. Father, please note the people that are here. Please understand that we are with you, that we are truly your people, and that we are searching out your ways. Father, please bless this day. Bless those who are listening. Help us to get rest on this day, and we thank you for everything. And Father, we thank you for your Son, YHWH. We ask this in the name of YHWH. Amen. All right, so let's take a quick look, and let's go into this real quick. And what I want to do is I want to go through some of these, and I guess there's no reason not to review these. And since nobody can be over there, Jade, let's see if you can represent for the family and give me the first 10 laws. All right, here we go.
Be fruitful.
Got it?
Multiply.
Yep.
Replenish the earth.
Yep. We always get stuck here.
Oh, yeah. That's the first three. We can get the 4. Subdue it and have dominion over it.
There you go. Okay.
All the herb and tree bearing fruit is food for you.
Got it. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Commandment 6.
No, this is Can I do this?
Is it cheating? I don't know. What do you got? Man and woman should build their own families. Okay, 7 is master sin. 8 is every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you. Don't eat the blood. Now, when we look at don't eat the blood, there's a ton of commandments in there, right? And so we have Genesis 9:4, then we have Leviticus 3:17, Leviticus 7:26, Leviticus 17:10, Leviticus 17:12, and Leviticus 7:13 and 14, and Leviticus 19:26. So we don't know if there was a tremendous amount of problem with people drinking the blood, but there is a lot of commandments here, and it's obviously something that we should not do, and so it's very important. Number 10 is walk before me and be perfect. That's a hard thing to do when we are dealing with our Creator, who is holy, righteous, and everything of that sort. And so it's a big task for us. Commandment 11 is another one that has a ton of verses with it. Guard YHWH's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. And inside of that, we have Genesis, Exodus, and it continues on. See how many times later it says, therefore shall ye guard my commandments and do them, for I am YHWH. All right, Commandment 12, every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old. Commandment 13, teach your children the commands and guard the way of YHWH. 14, YHWH's name for all generations. Commandment 15 is Passover. There's a ton of sub-commandments that we need to do as we get into those times. We will go over these more in. There's definitely 16 leavened bread. Now I get this, guys. I get that it says your internet is a little shaky. Do you guys get that a lot?
Yeah, it happens a few times.
It happens a lot. So,
but it seems to go fine
for the most part. All right, Commandment 16, 17 is Torah for the stranger and the Ephraim. Commandment 8, all firstborn to YHWH. Ones before Yah. Not bring Yah's name to naught. Just keep this. And on here, right here, give me some rules of the Sabbath. We've gone over this before. No work.
No cooking.
Yep.
No kindling fire.
Yep.
No buying or selling.
Yep.
No, your animals can't work.
Right.
No servants, maid or male servants work.
Right. Yeah. So it's a complete day of rest. And so here we are. And so we are on this, and we are reading the law, statutes, commands of our Creator. 22 is my favorite one. What would that be, Eli?
Honor your parents.
Oh, yeah. Why is that my favorite one, Eli?
Because you like us to honor you.
I do. I don't like to go out thinking I'm dishonored. Okay, do not kill. Do not break wedlock. Do not steal. Do not make false accusations against your neighbor. Do not covet anything of your neighbor's. Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched. Do not go up to the altar by the steps. Do not oppress the fatherless or widow. Do not eat what is torn of the beast. And this one also has a sub-commandment there. I need to space that one out right there. Commandment 32 is no false report. 33 is do not follow multitude of evil. Jade, why wouldn't we want to follow a multitude of evil?
Because one, they're wicked and Torahless, and if you're with those people, you are acting as them. You are hanging out with the Torahless, and you will look as Torahless as well.
Yeah, you will become your friends. What your friends are is what you will become. All right. Don't judge unrighteous against the poor. Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray. Help the animals of your enemy. Stay away from rumors and gossipers. Take no bribes. Why wouldn't we want to take a bribe? Anyone?
It perverts judgment. If something needs to be judged correctly and you take a bribe, you have just become part of the crime. You become part of the problem as well.
You get owned. You become a slave. Whoever ends up taking a bribe is a slave to the bribe master. Yeah, because you will by default change the way that you would actually do your stuff, right? You're going to give favors to the guy that gave you the bribes because that's, he hooked you up. Okay, don't oppress a stranger. And then another one of that is love the stranger. Lots about loving the stranger and lots about loving your neighbor. Give your land rest in the 7th year. And we're also going to talk about that. So Commandment 40, Nicole, will be one that we will be adding to today.
Right.
Commandment 41 is do not mention any pagan names. Keep the feast of Yahuwah. And under the feast of Yahuwah, there's stuff in there, right? And so we've gone over that. Passover,
Feast of Unleavened Bread, YHWH. We've gone over the Day of Atonement and the Day of Blasting.
Oh, we missed one.
Sukkot.
Yeah, it's in Sukkot. We still missed one.
Oh, it's a Passover.
Well, it's not. What is the feast? What is the
Feast
feast
of Weeks.
Right? What is the feast?
Sabbath day.
Sabbath day. Yeah, Sabbath day. That is it. Remember, we just read that last time. Okay, 43. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk. Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you. Only. Or outsiders of the land. Do not put oil on a normal person. What are we talking about here?
A priestly, almost like perfume that they made, where they made all these spices together and they would like spread it on themselves, and the priest would. And if you were to make it, you would be cursed.
Yeah, and once it's on you, right, you're basically set apart, right? Mm-hmm. And we read that you're not able to touch the dead and various things like that if you are ordained. You have that priestly anointment on. Make or use this perfume on a normal person, and then it goes into a perfume. Fat. Over and over, right? Do not eat the fat. Whatever's in fat, Yah likes it. It's his, and we should keep his. All right, 51. Obey Yah, who is high. Working on, and it's a little bit of computer time. She's got to type these all out and get them correctly, and then Yahuwah's hygiene laws are very important as well, so you don't. 54. No sacrifice. Do not uncover your family. Not take a woman's sister. Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness. You shall not sacrifice Moloch. Why wouldn't we do this, anyone?
Because it's an idol. It's a satanic thing.
We shouldn't be killing our children.
Yeah, we should be multiplying. We shouldn't be, killing off our kids. I don't have the right title for this yet. For right now, it's "Do Not Be Gay." It's man and woman. That's the bottom line. 61. Do not lie with beast. Obviously, that's some sort of horrible abomination. Be holy. And that's a big one, and we struggle with that. I think everybody probably struggles with this when we are compared to Yah. if we are compared to the way and the cleanness and the way that Yah is, we all will completely fall short. And it doesn't matter how wonderful we think that we are. When we are comparing ourselves to the Almighty, we're going to fall short. Commandment 63, do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard. Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor. That seems pretty obvious, but maybe, Eli, you can tell me, why wouldn't we defraud our neighbor? Why wouldn't we want to mess with our neighbor?
That's because Yahweh has told us to. And if we're messing with a stranger, we were strangers to the land of Mitzrayim. That was one of the things that he told us to do.
Yeah, but what's the bottom line? If we are sitting here oppressing a stranger, what will they never receive from us?
They will never receive the good news of YHWH or Yahuwah.
Yeah, the good news. Yeah, the Messiah Yahushua. And if you're some evil person and you act, somebody has something like your neighbor and they do something evil or vicious to you, and you react to that, you're never ever going to give them a chance. They're not going to want to listen to you, man, because they understand who you are. And so you have to repay kindness for evil. And, hopefully that will pave the way that you can minister and talk to your neighbors and things. Okay, pay your workers for the day's wage they are due. Do not harm the disabled. This sounds like a very basic thing. Why would this even be a command?
I don't know, but maybe they were messing with the disabled. Maybe something Yahuwah saw them doing like that doesn't look very good to me.
Maybe some bad kids or something.
I don't know.
Possibly. All right. Do not be a liar. Very, very important. Lying leads to everything else. Lying is a gateway to every other sin. I mean, if you're engaged in other kinds of sin, it usually begins with a lie, and whatever you're covering up, it's terrible. Right. Do not endanger your neighbor. Cade, why?
Possibly get him killed. That would be your fault if you killed your neighbor.
Yeah. Do not hate your brother. Jaden, why is that important? And is this talking about your brothers here, or is this talking about all our brothers and sisters online?
I would say everybody.
All right. And I'm trying not to get distracted here. Why would we do that?
Because there are a brother, and it probably could be like your brothers of Yashrael, because like Yehoshua said, they are my brothers and sisters and mothers.
Yeah, and that's what Messiah Yahushua said.
Anyone who does the will of Yahuwah.
Right, and who the will of Yahuwah is the complete point. And so if we are in the will of Yah, if we're doing his Torah, that means everybody who is a Torah keeper is our brother or sister, right? It doesn't matter who it is. Now, does that make the guy that just commented on our video a little bit ago, he says, I slaughter swine and I eat it. I love eating pig. Is that our brother?
No, it's not like a Gentile. It's like someone outside of Yahshua.
It sounds like a Gentile, but it could still be a brother.
It's still be a brother. It's still a child of Yah. It's still a creation of Yah, so they should be treated equally with a fair chance as well, even if they are sitting there blaspheming the name of Yahuwah, saying, I eat pork and I cook the grease up, or whatever it is they said.
Yeah, the message has to be delivered, and we're not always going to get a good reception when we're trying to deliver the message, and that's why all of us, especially me, over the years, I've gotten much better at being nicer. I used to pop off all the time, and people are like, I love my pig, and then I'm like, fine, whatever. But you just have to get the message through. That's all our job is to get our message through.
It's like Yahushua said, if they don't receive you, just shake the dust off your foot, and it's on them at this point.
Yeah, move on. Exactly. Okay, here's the next one. Rebuke your neighbor for his sin. What is this all about?
This is if you see your neighbor in some sort of sin, something that is very vile, something that should not be done, then you are going to want to get him out of it so that you do not partake in the sin. Because if it's obviously a sin big enough that it would cause the entire Yasharel to get cursed. Right,
and so those would be things like you notice your neighbor has a young child and it's not his child, and there's bad things going on, right? You would need to stop that. You would probably need to stop in there and save that child, whatever you did. But you would definitely need to rebuke your neighbor, and that way you're not found guilty of that sin. Because if you see it and don't say anything to him, then the guy may not know he's sinning.
If you see something, do something.
Nicole.
Jaden had a revelation that Leviticus 5 might be pertaining to that.
And that's when I think we're going to have a special edition on. Maybe a special edition now. What do we have with Leviticus 5?
All right, so it says in the first verse, and when a being sins in that he has heard the voice of swearing, or is a witness, or has seen, or has known, but does not reveal it, he shall bear his wickedness.
Okay, yeah, so that is exactly right. And so Jade came up with that the other day. We've been having some issues with Leviticus 5 because there was commandments in there, but we could not place them. But as we are getting more veteranized into writing these commandments down, I think that we're finding a place for them. So I think we're going to go through Leviticus 5 today as ourselves, and then we will add these where it needs to go, and then we'll do a video just on that. Okay, so yeah, that is a good thing. 72. Love your
not with each other's brothers? No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So you guys don't love your brothers as yourself?
Not always.
How does that fit into the Torah?
It doesn't. It's wickedness.
It's wickedness. So how do we fix this?
Stop being evil.
So what is how do you guys evil to each other? What does that mean?
It's more like arguments and picking at each other.
Picking, right? It's like one guy does one thing, it escalates, right? There's an escalation of it might just be an escalation of boredom of something of the sort, because the longer you guys are at a certain project, I will notice that you guys get bored and you guys will pick back and forth, but it advances. And so we're always on the chopping block ourselves as we go through these commandments. We're always trying to dial our own lives in to something better. All right. Do not diverse your cattle. That means basically don't breed them. You know, like a Holstein and a Brahma, you wouldn't probably want to breed those in Yah's land. Do not mingle your seed. What is that, Kate?
Mingling your seed would be throwing out like some form of, like, you throw out apple seeds and you throw out orange seeds in the same field. You didn't want to do that.
Or like the Japanese people, I believe back in the day, they would take all these seeds and put them in there, and they just throw all the seeds out of all, like, a whole bunch of different stuff, and it would grow up all sorts of different stuff. So Yah says don't do that. And why is that? We found out.
Because it mixes the nutrients. Because the bees would pollinate, and it would mix one part of the seed with another part of the seed, and you would get mixed fruits. And I think that was like harmful. It's like mixing wool and linen. It would do a harmful thing to you.
Yeah, and that's the next one. Do not mix linen and wool, which is a frequency thing, which will have you vibrating off the roof. And so it's something not good for humans. But it's yet another thing that we wouldn't know. Right? We would not know this unless our Creator had spent the time back in the day to say, hey, don't do this. All right, 76. Do not lie with a tainted woman. That should be very obvious. Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years. Do not practice sorcery. Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Okay. That's the world these days.
Yeah, everybody. They like a clean-shaven face for some reason. I'm not sure why. Nicole, do you like clean-shaven faces?
No, I used to.
You used to? You're okay with me?
Yeah.
That's good. All right. So do not cut yourself for the dead. That seems obvious. Do not get tattoos. Do not prostitute your daughter. That seems
that should be obvious.
A very obvious thing. Yeah. Do not defile your temple. Do not consult the medium. Respect your elders. Have correct weights and measurements. Not walk in the manners of the nation. You shall stone the wizards and mediums. Now, this is one that we put into this, and this is like a commandment that if you end up trying to keep this, you'll end up in prison. You'll end up. We're in the wrong time. A lot of these are for the land. This is for the land. If we wanted to, if we are taken back to Yisrael, if we were set up on Mount Zion, this is how it would be there, right? We would not allow wizards. We would not allow mediums, and we would kill them. As vicious as that sounds, evil has to be taken out of the land, and whether or not they die that's up to them. Right? Feast of First Fruits, Shavuot, and the Omer count. We must keep that. And so that's one we got the other day, I believe, like 2 days ago.
Yep.
And the Feast of Trumpets. Oh, something just went crazy here. Where it is? Feast of Trumpets. Yom Torah. We got to keep that. We keep the feast of coat. And we also, if you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death. Now, again, this is one of these commands that if you see somebody out there, like I mentioned before, all of Hollywood should be blown off the map. But if in the land, this is what it was. If you hear somebody, cursing our Creator, you got to pick up the rocks. Okay, if you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another one. And 94 is repay injury for injury. All right, so these are 94 commandments so far. We are almost out of the book of Leviticus. Right? And then we have Numbers and Deuteronomy left. And Deuteronomy is essentially recategorizing all of this. It's a recap of everything. It's like he basically just remember this stuff and go from there. All right. So as I go out to my handy dandy split screen, gentlemen, how are you guys doing?
Good.
LeGrand said something about...
What's the Grand say? So the Grand...
A video that somebody else did.
I don't see that, but I'm going to my handy dandy stuff. You guys look for that. All right, so we are on Leviticus 25. It's called the Sabbath year, and you guys will have to run that. Okay, so this is the Sabbath year. Let's begin. Leviticus 25. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Yisrael, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Shabbat unto Yahuwah. 6 years you shall sow your field, and 6 years you shall prune your vineyard and gather in the fruit thereof. Okay, so this is again one of these commands. Do we add this command or do we not?
Well, here it says that when you come into the land, most people aren't in the land anymore.
But it says when you come into the land.
So we should put it in there as like when we stone the withers and mediums.
Right, and so would this still apply to us today? Would we?
Yeah, if we make it back to Yisrael, I would say probably yeah.
What happens though? Here we are in the land that we are in right now. Right, we're in the middle of South America. Yah has provided this land. None of anything that I have has anything to do with my own sweat. This has 100,000% to do with Yah's blessings, and that He put us in this land. Now, if we are on the correct schedule, would we keep the land of Shabbat?
Absolutely, I think so. I would think so.
Okay, because there's blessings with that, and there's also other things as well. Because you have 3 years without food coming up. Okay, so Nicole, are you going to be adding this in?
Yep.
Okay, did you already add that in?
Nope.
Okay, you can still respond. You can get it in.
It's fine.
All right, so 4. But in the 7th year shall be a Shabbat of rest unto the land, a Shabbat for Yahuwah. You shall neither sow your field nor prune your vineyard. Now, this is yet a more sevens, right? We've gone over the sevens. Yah has 7 days, and you have a Shabbat. You have 7 hooks and levers, and 7 of this. You have your unclean for 7 days. The lepers have to go outside of the camps for 7 days. Everything is in parts of 7. So if we are dealing with sevens, and this is the problem when we deal with a lunar cycle where we get outside of cycles of 7. If we are stopping and we are putting a if basically we start a new month, is it a month? What are we starting here?
It's like it starts a new year at like the first new moon or something, and then like, but some people do it every month. Some people do it like every month on a new moon. They'll change it, so it'd be like you'll have a Shabbat on like a Friday or whatever, and then it'll end up on like a Tuesday.
Yeah, so we know some Torah keepers that actually, I don't know what it was last year, but this year they moved the Shabbat to a first day, and they believe that's the 7th day. But if we're dealing with 7s and 50s, and and that's the thing, inside of Scriptures, there's no place inside of Scriptures anywhere that it says, in the year of Josephus, when the Sabbath was the 4th day of the week, there's not a single thing that ever says the days of Shabbat are ever moved, right? That would add confusion. And our Creator's not about confusion. He's about getting people to the temple to read spend time on the Shabbat and do that kind of stuff. Imagine a year where only the priest knew when the next Shabbat was going to be, right? So imagine you're at the last Shabbat of the year and you had to swap it to another day. You would have all these people that came on the wrong day. You'd be, no, Sabbath has been changed to this. You'd have people coming at the wrong time. It would be a mess.
And if you're celebrating Shabbat on one day, right? Let's just say it's on the actual Shabbat, and then you change it to the next year. Somehow you're going to miss a Shabbat. You're going to go out of 7. You're going to have like a Shabbat in either the middle of the week or a day after Shabbat. You're going to miss your actual Shabbat. You're going to work 8 days instead.
Yep, and you're missing what's going to be coming up. You're missing Jubilees, right? You're going to be off on days of Jubilees. You're going to be off on all the stuff, which is why we got to get the calendars completely right. All right. But in the 7th, did I do it before? Yes.
Yeah,
all right, 5. That which grows of its own accord of your harvest you shall not reap, neither gather the grapes of your vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. Okay, so what does that say?
So basically whatever grows up, if food grows up, you can't eat it, just let it stay there.
So in 6 years, basically 6 years, that 6th year is like, it's going to be, you have to get it for the 7th year and also the 8th, because you're not going to have food, right? You would plant a year later.
Well, we get into that later, how that works.
Right. No, so that's what I'm saying. It's got a blessed time. All right, so 6. And the Shabbat of the land shall be food for you, and for your servant, and for your maid, and for your hired servant, and for your stranger that sojourns with you. So this would be a lot of faith, right? Because if Yah was not dwelling with people, there's absolutely no way, without a shadow of a doubt, that you're going to be able to plant enough in 1 year for 3. It's not going to happen. So you're going to be blessed by this. And for your cattle and for the beasts that are in your land shall all the increase thereof be meat. All right, what does that say? What does that say? Be meat.
All the crops are for food. Crops are for food.
And for thy cattle and for thy beasts that are in thy land shall all the increase thereof be meat. What does that mean? The increase thereof be meat.
Okay, and for your livestock and the beasts that are in your land, all its crops are for food.
Okay.
So basically, livestock eat that.
And I say, what's this say, Shug?
As well as for your livestock and wild animals in your land, whatever the land produces may be eaten.
Okay, so does that mean you're able to kill the cows?
Well, 7th year?
Probably, right?
I would say so because they're not the land. They don't need the rest. It's the land that needs the rest.
Right, so you're not going to have grains, but you would have meat.
Right, and the cows wouldn't be pulling the plow, so you probably have to get rid of a few of them because they're going to reproduce a lot of them.
Right, and the cows are still going to be eating that ground, though, so that's interesting. All right, 8. And you shall number 7 Shabbats of years unto you, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Shabbats of years shall be unto you 49 years. Okay, so basically, what did that just say? 7 times 7 is what?
49. So basically, 49 years.
49 years, and this is where a lot of the Sabbath keepers, like the lunar Sabbath keepers, they get into this thing on. They bounce around right here. Okay, so 9. Then shall you cause the shofar of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month in Yom Kippurim. Shall ye make the shofar sound throughout all your land? Okay, so that sounds like a command right there.
Yeah, when it's the 50th year of the Jubilee, we are supposed to blow our shofars on the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement.
Okay, so Nicole, do you have that one?
I think 8, 9, and 10 all go together, don't they?
8, 9, and 10. And you shall number, 7 Shabbats. Yep, so that's about Jubilees. Yep, okay, and 10. And ye shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto you, the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a Jubilee unto you. And ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. Okay, so the Jubilees are very, very important times, right? It's what happens in the Jubilee year?
Basically, everything is released. If you have a servant, you're supposed to release him on the Jubilee.
Yeah, we'll read into that. But it's one of those things that we are in cycles of 7 and 50s. And if we get out of that sync, then we're going to be out of sync. Okay, a Jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which grows of itself, nor gather the grapes of your vine undressed. So there's two different kind of like Jubilees. There's a 7th year for the land of rest, and then there's a 50-year Jubilee at which the same thing is happening here. All right, for it is the Jubilee. It shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat the increase thereof out of the field.
Basically, it's almost like a rest year. You're basically just going to eat. You're basically going to have basically almost like a lazy year. I'm sure you're still going to do work, but you're not going to be going out to the field and going every day and just planting and sowing and fertilizing and watering everything. You're just going to let it go, and you're basically just going to eat your increase and live your life.
And so you would be on the 7. You would be on a year of rest, and you would also be on a Jubilee as well. And so it's a little bit different. All right. In the year of this Jubilee, ye shall return every man unto his possession. Okay, what does that mean? You shall return every man unto his possession.
So basically, give him back his stuff.
What does the NIV say? In the year of the Jubilee, everyone is to return their own property to their own property. Okay, so what does that mean? Do you guys understand that?
I don't understand what that means exactly.
Okay, so that is if you would have sold your house, basically, or you'd basically, I mean, you could sell that stuff, but it comes back to you, right? The houses never ever go out of people's names. Unless you're in a city. In a city, that does change. I remember that the rules were changed. But you would go back. Nicole, what do you got?
So the Amplified Bible has like a little thing that says, which through poverty he was compelled to sell. So if he had to sell it during when you had no money, then they would give it back to him. Right.
And so you had all these years, and if you ended up in debt and you had to sell your land, that land would come back to you. So whatever you sell does not completely sell. It's only being used for whatever time is left. And I think they got into that before, where people were like 4 years before a Jubilee, you wouldn't want to buy that land or something of the sort because you'd only have it for 4 years. And so you'd want to make sure your numbers and everything were right, because you would only have it for 4 years and then it goes back to that guy's, which is cool, right? That means you'd never lose your house, right? Yah has his way that you would never ever get evicted you would end up with it getting it back. Okay, 14. And if you sell aught unto your neighbor, or buy aught of your neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another. And let's read that out of the NIV. If you sell land to any of your own people, or buy land from them, do not take advantage of each other.
I feel like that should be under a command. It's like the same like weights and measures, and don't oppress your neighbor, where you don't rip him off and take his money, right? If the land is worth it's a certain amount, you don't want to raise the price and somehow say, well, it's got this well here and this well here, I'm going to give it to you for like much more than it's worth. So.
Right. So Nicole, you got that one?
Yeah.
You
I
got
think these all just go under the Jubilee, right? Honor the Jubilee year.
Yeah, I guess that would be it. I mean, yeah, so that's probably right. Okay, 15. According to the number of years after the Jubilee, you shall buy of your neighbor, and according unto the number of years of the fruits, he shall sell unto you. Anyone have an idea what that says, Jade?
So according to the number of years after the Yobel, you buy from your neighbor, and according to the number of years of your crops, he sells you.
Sell unto thee. Yeah, so that's basically it. How many years do you have left, or vice versa?
And it goes down more. It explains it more.
So instead of selling a full title to a land, you're only selling you would get the crops of this land, which for the right guy, if you're a big farmer and you have all these people and this guy just went into debt, you pay a guy a little bit for the 4 years you have left, and you could reap quite a bit of money off of his land, especially if it's good land. All right. According to the multitude of years, you shall increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of years, you shall diminish the price of it. For according to the number of years of the fruits he sells unto you. So that's just basically, you guys understand that?
Like basically, if there's more years where you can grow more crops, the price goes up. But if the price goes up, but if there's like say 2 years, the price is going to go down because you can't get that many crops out of it. Right.
Plus whatever good you do to that land. When you return it, I don't know what state you would return it into. I'd hope you return it.
I think it'd be better, right? It'd be more flourishing and more.
So you'd have the nutrients that gone out of it.
So basically, you're just kind of renting it for 7 years.
Yeah, that's all it is. You're basically it's.
And like that, so the guy who the renting, he doesn't get any money back.
Well, this is 50 years, right? Are we doing 50 or 7s? Because this was on a Jubilee, so this was the first
50.
Yeah, so you're dealing with 50s. So everything would be in 50s, and that's a long time. Some people don't. A lot of people these days don't live 2 Jubilees, but that's the calendar of our Creator. So. Where are we at here? 16, 17?
17.
All right. You shall not therefore oppress one another, but ye shall fear your Elohim, for I am Yahuwah Elohim. Again, there's that you shall not oppress one another, take care of your neighbor, don't rip them off, all that kind of stuff. Our Creator cares about everybody out there. Okay, 18. Wherefore ye shall do my statutes, and guard my judgments, and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land in safety. Okay, we have that over and over and over, right?
Guard my commands.
Yeah, guard my commands. So, Nicole, you know where that one's at?
Yep.
All right. And the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill, and dwell therein in safety. And if ye shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. And that would be the first thing people would say. Well, how are we going to eat? Right? Well, this tells us how we're going to eat because 21. Then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. So, guys, if you're on the right calendar and you're in the land, you should be able to that 6 years is a humdinger, right? It's a big one, right? You're going to get way more than whatever you had, and Yah's going to bless it. I don't even know if you need fertilizer that year because your crops are going to be flying up, right?
Some old guy says shalom.
Hey, old guy, how you doing, buddy? Some old guy. How you doing, some old guy? Much love to everybody out there who's in here, listening in. We love you all. We appreciate you. All right, 22. And ye shall sow the 8th year, and eat yet of old fruit until the 9th year. Until her fruits come in, ye shall eat of the old store. Okay, so hold on. We have 6 years, and we get a lot on the 6th year.
And we get 3
years. The 7th year, we can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
The 8th year, we're starting to grow our crops. Why would we need this on the 9th year?
Because probably the crops will be ready.
You eat the old fruit, yeah, probably until the beginning of the 9th year.
It's the same Yah has the widows and the poor taken care of. He knows that if we're obeying his laws, he's going to give us enough food to last us for another 3 years. When we're obeying his laws, he's going to give us plenty of increase.
Yeah, so what would you be doing if you were a farmer and that's all you ever knew, and you were year 6, you would basically have a vacation for years.
Okay, find no hobby.
Go hibernate for an entire year.
Yeah, no, do something else.
Don't waste
And
that
I
time.
think actually they said there's things that I read before that during those years, the farmers would go find other things to do, other jobs, like they'd become a construction worker and they'd go help build.
Aha. That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go build some stuff. Okay, the land, 23, the land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye are strangers and sojourners with me. And that is amazing, right? Yah delivered the land, he gave everything, and it's these people's stuff. The inheritance that our Creator had is amazing. All right, 24. And in all the land of your possession ye shall grant a redemption for the land. If your brother be waxen poor and has sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which is his brother sold. Okay, do you guys understand what that says?
Yeah, so basically, if the person that sold it originally, right, the person that sold it out of poverty, sold it to him, but he still doesn't have the money to come redeem it, buy it back. If his brother wants to buy it back for him, he is allowed to redeem it and buy it back with his money.
Right, and that's amazing as well, right? So I mean, even if you sell it, there's still a chance you can get it back, and it's not going to make that farmer real happy.
Because you aren't buying it because you want to you aren't selling it because you just want to sell it. You're selling it because you have no other options. You're basically
poor.
Need the money for whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, the only option left is sell yourself into slavery, I suppose, or break Torah and steal or something. Okay, 26. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. Okay, so what's that say there?
Then let him count the years since its sale, and return the remainder to the man to whom he sold it. It shall be his to return to.
Okay, what does that say?
So I'm thinking that says like you gotta so whatever years left, like you gotta figure out the math on that, and each year it costs a certain amount.
So here would be a problem, right? So say I'm the farmer and you went into poverty, Jade. I went and bought say it's year 46 or something of the sort, right? So you sell this to me on the year 46. I go through it and bring all my servants in and I crush the whole yard, the whole land, bring up all these crops. And in the middle of the crops that are coming up, the brother comes and redeems this, right? So there's a problem right there because the guy that just bought it, he has invested all the seed, he's invested all the time, he has all the labor into that. And so there's going to be some sort of I mean, you got to make this right. There has to be some sort of a contingency, and I think this is part of it, right? Because you're supposed to restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it. So if there's more to it, I think the way Yah has this is it has to be done right. I do not know what would happen if you came and wanted to redeemed after you had just spent all that time into that.
That was 28, right?
That was 27.
27, okay.
Yeah, 28. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that has bought it until the year of Jubilee. And in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return unto his possession. And if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. Within a full year he may redeem it. Okay, so this is something a little different, right?
So it's like an actual house.
This is talking, inside of Jerusalem or inside of a city.
Land, just probably a house.
Just a house, yep. And if it be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout his generations. It shall not go out in the Jubilee.
So basically, if you sold a house in the
city,
whatever you did in the city, if you did not buy it back within that year, right? If you were not able to redeem it, or your family wasn't able to redeem it for you, then that basically whoever you sold it to, that house is his forever.
Yeah, and that's very interesting that Yah separates land from something else. Are we having audio issues? I just saw somebody message in there. Let's see here, and let's see. Should I go into the Jubilee? So let's get into 31. But the houses of the villages, which have no wall round about them, shall be counted as the fields of the country. Then they may be redeemed, and they shall go out in the Jubilee. Is there any issues?
So some guy said, I've noticed when any talks about Yahuwah, the internet messes up. The enemy does not want the truth out.
Yeah, that's probably true. It could also be our bad internet too. So I'm sure the enemy has something to do with all of this. So hopefully you guys are catching this, and hopefully it's not a waste of anyone's time. Let's go into this. So I want to go back to that little point right there on the house, right? So how would this work out? I mean, your land is returned to you. A house outside of a city is returned to you, but inside of a city, you
have 1 year.
You have 1 year.
If you don't buy back in the year, then it becomes that person's forever.
So it's like almost inside of a city. It's a whole different kind of rules.
Different kind of game.
Yeah, different kind of rules. All right. So 31. 31. Okay. But the houses of the villages, which have no wall round about them, shall be counted as the fields of the county. They may be redeemed, and they shall go out in the Jubilee.
So houses without like a walled city, basically little like houses in the middle of nowhere. If you sell it, and it basically is counted as land, it's counted as the same thing, and it can be returned to you in the Jubilee year.
What's the difference between a walled city and a not? I mean, why would one be returned and one not?
I have no idea.
Mine says an unwalled village.
An unwalled village, right?
So village versus city. I don't know if there's a difference.
There's obviously a difference to Yah somehow.
Yep.
Okay, 32. Notwithstanding the cities of the Levium and the houses of the cities of their possession, may the Levium redeem at any time. Okay, so what is that saying there?
So the Levites can always redeem their houses inside the cities.
Okay, the Levites have always a right to redeem their houses. Okay, that's good to know. And if a man purchase of the Levium, then the house that was sold and the city of his possession shall go out in the year of the Jubilee. For the houses of the cities of the Levium are their possession among the children of Yashrael. Okay, so that makes sense, right? So the priests fall under yet another kind of a category, right? Don't mess with the priests. The priests have a shot at getting their stuff back. But the fields of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. And if your brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with you, then you shall relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with you. Okay, what does that mean, decay? What did you guys say?
Mine says, and when your brother has become poor and his hand have failed with you.
His hand has failed?
His hand has failed with you. Then you shall sustain him, and he shall live with you like a stranger or a sojourner. So basically, don't make him a slave. You just need to bring him in as one of your own. You need to bring him in, basically just take care of him. If he's so poor, he can't take care of himself at this point.
So what kind of brother? So it says fellow Israelites, and then there it says brother in this. So
I think it's like family. I think it's actual physical brother.
You think it's a physical brother?
I think it's...
Well, the NIV says, if any of your fellow Israelites become poor and are able to support themselves among you, help them as you would a foreigner and stranger. So I don't think it's a brother like that. I think it's...
Maybe it is like just a Israelite.
Yeah, so you're supposed to try to help
these people. You weren't supposed to enslave the Israelites. You weren't supposed to make them like slaves.
Right. Okay, so 36. Take no usury of him or increase, but fear your Elohim, that your brother may live with you.
Take no interest from him.
Right. So take no interest. That is a command, right?
Yep.
So you're not supposed to take any profit off of people like family,
like
the
Israelites.
Yeah, Israelites, and so your brothers.
Shalom to Sylvia.
Shalom to Sylvia. Sylvia's here.
Yep.
Hey, Sylvia, how you doing? Hope you're good. Hope you guys are all good out there. Much love to you all. Okay, 37. You shall not give him your money upon usury, nor lend him your victuals for increase. All right, what's going down?
Do not lend him your silver on interest, and do not lend him your food for profit. So basically, you just really need to take care of him. Don't sit there and try and make money off this dude.
What happens if they can't pay you back?
That's not what it was meant for. Yahuwah said, revere him. Don't expect the payback.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 38. I am Yahuwah Elohim, which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim to give you the land of Canaan and to be your Elohim. And if your brother that dwells by you be waxen poor and be sold unto you, you shall not compel him to serve as a bond servant. Okay, so what is that saying right there?
So it says, don't make him a slave. If he wants to make money, he wants to become a slave, do not let him become a slave. And the next verse says what he can become.
Okay, but as a hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with you, and shall serve you until the year of Jubilee. So how is that different than being a slave?
Slaves didn't get paid.
He got paid. He's an employee. He's more of an employee than a slave.
Are you guys slaves?
No, we get paid, technically.
What do you get paid? Food?
Food, yeah.
Lodging? 3 hots and a cot?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Yeah, so you're supposed to basically take him in as a hired worker, right? What does that do for that? What does that do for your brother?
Not only does it make him it gives him money to provide for himself because he's working for you, but you're also not basically he's not a slave, he's not lower than you, he's equal with you.
Yeah, lower. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, you're not you're not making him just a nobody, right? If you do a
you're keeping his esteem and keeping his honor. You're not making him humble himself before you to be your slave because he couldn't afford for himself. You're taking care of your brother. As when Yahuwah says, "I am Yahuwah," he means it. It's obviously when he says it after that, he says, "I am Yahuwah who brought you out of Mitzrayim." He's like, "I will put you back in Mitzrayim. I took you out there. You need to take care of your brothers. I'm taking care of you."
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a single person in the world that ever wakes up and goes, "Man, today I should live in poverty. Today I should absolutely strive to go to poverty. Let's see how bad I can actually make this," right? So when you are in poverty, that you're at the end, right? You're at the dire straits. You do not mean to be there. And I've said this before, but anybody can make it to the side of the road with a cardboard box, right? It doesn't matter how good of a life we have it. At the end, if we mess with Elohim, if we mess with Yahuwah, he can put us back, and we have to be thankful. It doesn't matter how bad we have it. It is way better than what it could be.
Ori Pup is here too.
Ori Pup, how you doing, buddy? Our brother Ori.
The grand thought your 3 hots and a cot were funny.
All right, so here we are.
41.
41. It's 40, right? 40 or 41?
No, it's 41.
41.
Okay. All right, Eli, you're a little behind, buddy. Okay, and then shall he depart from you, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. Now, this is different than being a slave, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, if you end up with a slave and they had a family, then what?
You get to choose because you give them the family, then you get to choose if you keep the kids and the wife, or if he brought them, then he gets to keep them.
Right, but I think the point of this is not to enslave Yah's people.
Yeah,
right?
No one is supposed to be lesser than another. Everyone is supposed to be taken care of equally.
Absolutely, yeah. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim. They shall not be sold as a bondsman. You shall not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear your Elohim. Okay, what does that mean?
Mine says do not rule over him with harshness. So basically, don't be a ruthless slave driver.
But it says, why would we fear Elohim? Why would we fear Yah?
Because if we're sitting there ruling them with harshness, if we are ruthless to our brother who we're supposed to be just a hired servant, then Yahuwah can do the same to us. I mean, he can strike us down any moment. That's why he says, "I am Yahuwah, your Elohim." He says you're supposed to revere me because he can do the same to you. He can make you a slave. He can make you like Nebuchadnezzar and eat grass for 7 years.
Yeah, remember the parable of Messiah Yahushua, right? Where we had the one slave guy, and he went to the boss, and he owed all this money, and then the boss is like, "Hey, you know what? You're forgiven." And then somebody else owed that slave money, and the guy beat him up and sent him to jail. And then the slave master went and took care of business because he was an evil slave. Okay, 44. Both your bondsmen and your bondsmaids, which ye shall have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondsmen and bondsmaids.
So basically says you can have slaves from the Gentiles, not your own people.
Oh, that's interesting. Does this apply to us today?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure slavery is pretty much done with, is abolished at this point.
Not according to Yah.
Yeah, but like nowadays, you can't go enslave someone. That's going to end you up in several years of prison.
Have you guys seen a mask on people? That looks like slavery to me. That looks like complete slavery. I believe that these people that came and they made us all slaves these days. Okay, 45. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them ye shall buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. Okay, anyone have anything for that?
So basically, anybody like the strangers that came in with you guys, that they were basically allowed to buy as slaves are allowed to buy as people, and that was probably because they probably were not rich like the Yasharites were. They still had to be taken care of. So if they were just workers living under someone else's house, that was probably good enough for them, as they were probably like immigrants, very poor, very.
Don't you guys see anything wrong with the whole slavery thing? I'm not saying Yah's ways are wrong by any means. But he has set up a system that you actually buy and sell slaves.
I don't see it as something as like we have now, right? Where you buy a slave and you're whipping them. I see it as more of almost like a family style thing, where like here's your job for the day, and you go do it, and they eat with you, they live with you. It's almost like a family thing. It's not as a slavery thing where like you're sitting there beating your slave and ruthless to them.
That would be the ideal slave master, I'm sure.
And that's why he says here, don't rule them with harshness. Don't rule any slave with harshness. They were supposed to be revered as people as well. They were both basically supposed to just be taken care of, but in return they work for you. They do work with you, alongside you.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Let's do 40, 45? 46. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondsmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Yashrael, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, are you getting any commands on this, Nicole? Like, I mean, there's some stuff here. I mean, like we're not supposed to
enslave our brethren,
and we're not supposed to rule people with evil, right? We're supposed to be nice and we don't need to be evil people. There's no reason to be.
It seems strange to have a slave because we grew up with knowing that slave drivers are evil people, that they beat their slaves. But back then, I don't think it was like that. It wasn't like where they were all wicked people. They were supposed to all have to be taken care of with niceness and kindness as one another was supposed to, as every brother was supposed to take care of one.
You would think so, but I don't think that's the way the world has worked with slavery. I mean, you can see the Egyptians, right? And
the Egyptians, that's what it was. Everyone else grew up with, slaves, where everyone knew that slave masters were beating their slaves. They knew that they were wicked people, and was like, no, if you want slaves, then you're going to take care of them nicely. You're going to treat them as a actual human being.
Yeah, no, I find it very weird that we have the capability of owning another human being. I just can't get that through my I can't get through my system. Okay, 47. And if a sojourner or stranger wax rich by you, and your brother that dwells by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by you, or to the stock of a stranger's family. Okay, so hold on here. So what are we talking about here? We have a stranger.
So if there's a stranger that is rich, right, and your brother and a Yashraelite was poor, and sells himself to the stranger that is rich.
So you're selling yourself to the heathens. You're selling yourself to the Gentiles. Okay. After that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him. That's assuming that these guys play under the same rules. I mean, if it's a stranger, and a stranger is in on this, then I mean, I don't know. I don't know how this goes, but maybe we can get everyone to pay attention here. So what do we got here? 48?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right. So what did the Grand say, by the way?
She says it's like the multiple wives thing. Abba doesn't condone it, but has a definite rule on how we treat each other.
So I don't know if the condone, I know that's the right, I know we all are going to that place where probably as human beings we don't condone it, but I don't think Yah has spoken against it. I still don't think that is the correct word, dear Granny. All right, either his uncle or his uncle's sons, 49, may redeem him, or any of that is nigh of kin unto him of his family may redeem him, or if he is able, he may redeem himself. Okay, so basically saying your family members, assuming the stranger is willing to let this guy go. But I mean, that's the thing. Once you sell yourself into slavery and it's not under Yah's rules and you're not under a jubilee or something,
it could go wrong.
I mean, they could just say, hey, once bought, it's bought. And, it's the way it is.
I feel like that's where the Yashlites would go destroy the enemy when they would take their brother in or something for a slave. They wouldn't redeem another rule.
Maybe. But I mean, you have voluntarily sold yourself into slavery at this point is what it sounds like. All right, 50. I don't have answers for a lot of this. And he shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold to him until the year of Jubilee. And the price of his sale shall be according to unto the number of years, according to the time of a hired servant shall it be with him. Okay, is this still talking about...
I think this is 7 years.
This is 7 years?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we have this here. We're talking about a sojourner here.
I feel like 50 years, someone's already going to be really old with a slave by then. 50 years. Just a long time.
The year of the Jubilee.
Year of the Jubilee.
Jubilee, 50 years.
50, huh. And are we sure we're not at 7 years?
Okay, so I'm thinking this is all inside land, because you had a lot of other people that were mixed multitudes inside of Israel, and they came out of Egypt. There were a lot of other people that left with them.
But they shouldn't be in the land. They should
right, but they decided to become part of Israel and follow the commands. But they were still from Moab or whatever, and so they were following laws. So they sold themselves to someone inside of Yashrael, so they would still be following the laws. So I don't think you would sell yourself to outside of Yashrael.
Yeah, I don't think it would work out well, because they are talking about redeeming people, and it seems like they're playing under the same set of rules.
So I think it's all if you have the sojourners, the people that came from other nations and they wanted to be Yashrael, then they would sell them to the people inside of Yashrael. But I don't think you'd sell yourself outside of that area. Yeah,
it'd be a bad news. I mean, sell yourself to some foreigners, you'd be gone. Okay, the Grand has no answers for anything either, so we're all questioning things here. All right, so 51. Mm-hmm. If there be yet many more years behind, according unto them he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. Okay, this is redeeming slaves. Okay, and if there remain but few years unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall count with him, and according unto his years shall he give him again the price of his redemption. Again, how to make it fair to end your slavery.
All right, what did it cost? What was the cost of redemption? What did they charge? I wonder.
I don't know. It'd probably be whatever the price of the slave was.
And then the time of work.
How many years he served, they took off that and basically just gave the rest of the sower what was left.
Yeah, this could get into some sticky situations, I would imagine.
Probably pretty expensive.
I don't know. I don't know what a slave costs. Okay, and as a yearly hired servant shall he be with you, with him. He be with him. Let me read that again. And as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not rule with rigor over him in your sight. And if he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of Jubilee, both he and his children with him. Okay, so this is the Jubilees, the slaves are free. All right, for unto me the children of Yashrael are servants. They are my servants whom I brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahuwah Elohim. All right, gentlemen, that takes us to the very end of this. And I guess everybody out there, if you guys are hanging with us, we really, really, really appreciate it. Gentlemen, what do you guys have? Today is a Shabbat. Have you guys got any rest yet?
Kind of. We haven't done any work, so yeah, kind of.
Yeah, we haven't worked, but you guys haven't got a nap in or anything of the sort.
Not yet.
Okay. Anything else? Nicole, the muffins went well today?
Yes,
everybody happy with the
ate
muffins?
their
Yeah, I think the muffins are pretty much gone.
Yeah, the muffins went fast, very quick. These guys eat a tremendous amount.
The Grand says, "Are we not all slaves to the master?"
We are actually, that's not actually slaves.
I said servants.
This is not. This is what I would say. I was actually thinking about this the other day, Legrand. Is that we are voluntarily entering into what it wouldn't even be slavery, right? Everything our Creator has given us a free will, right? We don't have to do anything that we do not want to do, but we should do what we should be doing, because if we don't, then our souls are in danger. So we are voluntarily enslaving ourselves to the greatest master that we could ever have, right? There is no greater master than Yah. And, you could see that because he gave us a son, he gave us a Torah, he gave us the ways forward, and he gave us right statutes, he gave us right judgments. And so, I guess in fact we are kind of slaves, but we are voluntarily enslaving ourselves to the righteous master. And this is not when our master doesn't want us to beating up other slaves, or he wants you to take care of your neighbors, he wants you not to oppress them. I mean, our master has qualities that most slave people wouldn't have, right? So if you're a slave master, you're going to have to beat the slaves probably to get them to work, or not. Maybe you can just give them free food or something and they would do it. But our master would never do that to us, right? We are free to enter into the Shamayim, or we're free to enter into Sheol, and it is all up to us. And that is why the world is at such a crossroads, is because that we can choose. And the majority of the world has chosen not to serve Yah. And there's the very, very few people, and you can see it on this channel. And I know there's other channels that are really large. They have like 20, 30,000 people on there, and they get a lot of views. But I don't see a world that is serving Yah. I don't see a people that is celebrating serving Yah. And there's no better place to be than right here. There's no better place to be than in the hands of our master, who wants us to have the best life possible under his ways, under his conditions. So, All right. Anyone else have anything?
No, today's a rest day, so you guys should definitely be resting, and hope you guys are prepared for it.
Yep. And Ori Pop, blessings or curses? Yeah, our choice. Exactly. Yeah, and that is it, right? And the blessings, you would have to be, I don't want to say a fool, but you would have to be a fool to not want the blessings of Yah. Because the curses come in so many different ways. The curses come simply by not keeping the Torah and what you fall into, because you fall into the traps. The Torah is a way that we do not fall in these traps, that we are not caught up into the hands of Hasatan, that we know right from wrong, and that we can try to stay clean. We can try to stay holy. We can try to stay where our Creator wants us to be. All right. Well, I guess that is it. Shabbat shalom to everybody out there. Boys, you guys are all right?
Yeah.
Nicole, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, I guess that is it. Much love to everybody out there. We truly appreciate you guys that are out there. Huge hugs out from Boss Clan. And, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And much love.
Have a restful day.
Yeah. Bye, the Grand. Bye, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, everybody.